There. Hey, everybody. Today is November 24th, 2023. I'm Gene.
And I'm Zane.
And you're hanging with Uncle.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
man.
Thanksgiving,
Well, late
everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah. Hope it was, nice and everyone got fat.
It was
well
wonderful.
fed.
Got to have people get reunited after years of not seeing each other for the holiday, which was really great. I love that. Like, girlfriend. She hasn't seen her dad in first time in years, so it felt good.
For me, I have two of my three sons are here. Levi and Jared are here with me. They're visiting. So, hey, son.
Hey, Dad.
It's been. I feel very blessed. It was a good day. I'm having a good time and
good. I do plan to at least see my family this weekend. Gotta still see people, but.
Right.
Anyways, hopefully you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving words, and also please hit the like button.
And that subscribe button.
Yes, and also the notification bell to let you know whenever we go live in the future, and also whenever we post our VODs so you can watch us at work or on the toilet, whichever.
Yes.
So we have some interesting topics, kind of like off the top of the rocker there.
Yeah.
But some things that kind of came up throughout the week. It was a short week for us. I mean, Thanksgiving, we had to prepare for the holiday, and I wasn't really attuned to the news. Gene, with his family over, wasn't attuned much either. But some topics that came up in just our minds that we wanted to share with everybody. I think with everyone being so focused on family these days, we have to remember those who don't have, those who are also in need. Those who are homeless these days. There's been a lot of stuff going on with homelessness these days. A lot of conversations. Like, for one, San Francisco. Cost of living has been causing that.
I can tell you, recently, within the past 2 years, I have been to both San Francisco and Portland, Oregon, where both those cities, the homeless situation is... I'm not going to say out of control, but it's in need of addressing.
There's a ceiling to stuff like this.
But it's different. The difference in the homeless population is different within the two cities.
Yes. San Francisco is in kind of a infested drug situation. The cost of living is too high, yes, but also the streets bring that along with it. It's rough. And California is, increasing still more and more.
Well, I can tell you, just so when we went to San Francisco, there were rows for like miles of RVs and cars just parked on the side of the road that are people living out of their cars, working full-time jobs, but still... cannot afford to put a roof over their head because of the cost of living. And I mean, to me, in my opinion, it just narrows the issue down to greed, at least in San Francisco.
It kind of funnels people down to that kind of living, Like, they already have a homeless issue to begin with, and then now they have people moving into the area who need to make around $150K a year just to have a roof over their head.
Yeah.
That's the amount. And then, of course, like I was hinting at earlier, the drug situation is also increasing because of the homelessness increase.
Yeah.
And even bus stops that have children getting ready for school are having these guys all laying around in their tents or being there just at the bus stop.
Which, and again, we talked about this, was about a month ago when Governor Newsom of California signed into law a $20 minimum wage for fast food workers. And people are celebrating, oh my God, that sounds really good. But
overall,
where are you going to live in the state of California anywhere on $20 an hour? Because the cost of living is so high there. And in the rural areas, it really is flat, barren wasteland. I mean, it's so agricultural, but it's so dried up because of the drought, because of climate change. And no more should be brought to the land, and farms drying up, and the whole geographical landscape of the area has changed. And I believe that also has a lot to do with driving people out of their homes, because there's nothing to keep them there. There's no jobs. Everything's dried up and gone away. So there's a myriad of different factors to go into that. But talking about Portland,
they just signed a bill to not allow tent cities, essentially, to be on the street, which I feel like is fair, yes, but then you still got to find out a solution for these people that are out there on the streets still.
So in Portland, it looked like you look along the fences, and it looks like just trash piled up along, the side of the road. And in reality, that's where people are living.
Wow.
Underneath those trash bags or tarps or sleeping bags or whatever they can find to cover themselves up. And, it's... Portland's also, it's not as big as San Francisco, but it's also not really cheap to live.
No.
And they're addressing the issue, and just in my opinion, from what I saw, more as a problem. Like, you guys don't need to be here, don't go somewhere else, instead of addressing it from a humanitarian point of view.
Exactly.
Now, what that is, I don't know. I don't have the answer. I don't live there, but it definitely, that's just my opinion. It deserves to be approached from a humanitarian level.
And to throw some validity to it, I remember when I worked with the trash company that I had customer service with, a lot of the customers that worked lived in the Portland area that I worked, a lot of them did talk about the homeless issue that was increasing from time to time. And it's been worse since they lived there. And they moved there years ago. Now it's completely different. But Brent did say hello and happy Thanksgiving, but also is bringing up an interesting topic. Is that in a city like San Francisco in D.C., the cost of living is so high, making $250,000 is like making $100,000 in another city. And we did talk about that earlier. How people are living other places because cost of living is so much cheaper, and people are even abusing the California paycheck and working from home remotely in other states to counterbalance that. Like,
honestly, I'm going to say that the cost of living in California has been bad for a long time. When I retired from Compton, I could not afford to live there. No. Just on my retirement. So I moved out of state to a place where I got a job, plus supplementing what I got from California. I was one of those people living in one of those places high on the hog, like a big fish in a small pond, when I really wasn't making a damn thing compared to everybody else around the country. But there, we were fat.
If Brittany and I were to go and move to California, we would be considered poor.
You'd be living out of your car.
We wouldn't have anywhere to live. Well, you have to have at least, again, an average of $150,000 to find a place to live.
Yeah.
Like, we would not be able to, fend for ourselves, and we have 2 full-time jobs. Work in the same office together. It's insane. But the cost of living here is also increasing from time to time. And we might actually have that crisis at some point too.
So, I'll tell you, cost of living and greed. And nobody's been able to justify this to me. So when I was 18 years old, living out here, stationed at the local military base, my roommate and I, on an E2 salary, got a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in Glendale for $260 a month.
Jeez. If only.
So, you tell me why that same place now is worth $2,000 when nothing has changed.
Right. I couldn't tell you. We're paying about $2,000 a month as well for where we're living right now. The
prosecution rests.
Yeah. It sucks. You could pay $2,000 somewhere else in a cheaper state. Again, bouncing off what Brent said, in a cheaper city, and like you started, and live pretty sufficiently. Maybe it might be a call. It might be something to go and do.
There's a reason people do it, and I don't try and throw shade on them or talk bad about them.
Not at all.
Oh, you're one of those people. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Until you walk in somebody else's shoes, shut the fuck up.
If my job and her job were to become completely remote, we would most likely not be here in Arizona for sure. We would be somewhere else.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
I lived in the state of Arkansas for damn near 20 years, and again, lived like kings, man.
Yeah.
We had just a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house there, and
nice.
my mortgage was like $1,200 less than what your rent is right now.
Jeez, that's insane. I would love that. Like, absolutely, I would love that.
So again, why?
Babe, we might have to talk about moving.
I'm just saying, if I can live here for this, why can't I live here for this? I'm living the same lifestyle. I'm getting up. I'm going to work. How come I can't do it there, but I can do it here?
Again, life has to become remote, if that were the case. But some people are able to live that. Like, why not? Again, you can't knock that at all. You can't.
No, you really can't, man. So, I think the homeless issue in the United States is something that's not talked about, and when it is talked about, it's addressed like it's a plague, instead of addressing it like these are human beings that need to be treated the way you and I would want to be treated. And that is not the point of view in which this problem is being addressed. And that breaks my heart.
I couldn't agree more, man. It is heartbreaking to think of it that way.
I mean, what other way is there to think of it? That is the way it is. But for the grace of God, that could be me sleeping under a bridge instead of me being fortunate enough to have a roof over my head.
But that's what it takes. That's kind of it. Like, bottom line, to survive. If you were to go and make that move, I don't see the issue. Yeah.
Anyway, I got something that I want to talk about because this has been going on a few years now, and it is
touchy.
It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not trying to make fun of it. I'm not trying to diminish anything. But
here at Uncle, we talk about controversial topics. We know it's controversial. We get it. We're adults here, right? But it's like,
and you can leave your comments and let us know what you think, or say, hey, Uncle, this is why this is important, or we agree with you, this is a dumbass idea.
Which we honestly would understand why it would be
just
important.
Let us know. But to me, the issue of pronouns needs to just take a step back, because my name is Gene, and that's my buddy Zane. So if I were to say, hey, my buddy Zane, that's him right there, I wouldn't say, hi, him. So what the fuck you want to address me as a pronoun for? My name is Gene. It's a proper noun. Just use common English, and if a pronoun is thrown in there, I'm not offended. So it doesn't make any sense to me why this is my pronoun. I just don't get it. I mean, maybe I'm just an old man now and it's new to me, and I
That's
don't
exactly
get
where I was gonna go, Gene. Your old mental ways. No, honestly, I could agree with you on that, because I feel like now it's more like a religion conversation where it's like, don't push it on me. Like, I understand. I support you. I agree with what you are, who you are, how you want to represent yourself 120%. 200 even. I'm not going to do it that way, because you got to respect me for what I want to do as well. Correct? It's
exactly
just how it works. You see eye to eye, I respect, right? So it's like, I'm not going to change myself and make my speech in whichever different. Like, there are different scenarios where it's like you get caught up in these situations where they didn't exist prior. Like, there are shows that are like editing and changing things that don't even exist, like changing words in the Spanish language that have one meaning and one term, just to try to to hit that pronoun crowd, to make sure we're correct, I guess. But you're not correct anymore now. We're being incorrect, which is what you're trying to get at. You're being incorrect with intros now.
It is. Like, it's like
even like slang, saying man. Like, I'm not saying you're man. It's a neutral term. Like, if we were to sit with neutral and non-neutral and whichever, then it's a neutral term. You got to understand that as well. Yeah. Like, so I don't know. It's a controversial topic. It's what I'm saying.
Up? Hey, what's up? Yeah. Do I have to say, hey, you, what's up? Hey, she, what's up? Hey, him, what's up? It doesn't flow. It's not English. It doesn't compute to me, and that's why I have an issue with calling someone by their pronoun or addressing someone by their pronoun when just by the use of the English language, I already know how to do that.
I mean, out of respect for somebody, if they were to say, hey, can you make sure that you don't use he with me anymore, I am her, then okay, yeah, I will try it. Exactly.
And that's too
out
easy.
Of respect. Yeah. But like that's conversation. That's human behavior. Like that's exactly what you're hoping for. It's like, okay, yeah,
right.
sure. But like no throwing it in my, like no, don't make me to be that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, again, my son is sitting in the room. You know, he is sitting right over there. How are you doing, son?
Okay, how you doing?
You know, I mean, it's English. It's just talking to people. It's not like I have to be pronoun forward. Fuck that. Gene just it doesn't. I don't get it. If I offend somebody by saying "How are you?" then the problem's with you, not me. That's how I feel.
Tyler, the Creator, once said, "Sorry if I don't know your pronouns. Calm the F down. Relax. I will get it correct. Okay? Just give me time." But also, it's like, give me an understanding of I'm just still gonna be me, regardless. Like, I'm gonna try, but man, yeah, I don't know. It is that controversial topic. It's starting to hit with the religion, starting to hit with the politics. It's in that same bubble now for some weird reason. Abortion, like we'll throw it all in there.
To me, it's just another thing to try and pigeonhole somebody. So like,
or categorize somebody.
It justifies them treating you a certain way. Well, what are you? Is this
or labeling yourself and putting
right?
Honestly, the part that confuses me with it, and this is where I get confused. It's like you want me to label you as such, which is fine, I will. But you say it makes you feel different, but it puts you in a category. So it's like I don't want to be put in a category. I don't want to be stereotyped for who I am and what I am and all that nonsense. I don't like that.
Hate that. And you know I'm glad you brought that up, man. Yeah. That's probably why I feel the way I do.
Yeah.
Because
why would you want to be labeled?
You know, just for me as growing up, I am so fucking sick of everywhere I go somebody saying, "What are you?"
Yeah, exactly. Why is that your business? It's always been my picky topic too, my conversation.
You know, so it's like, I'm me. What the fuck you want to know what I am so you can justify how to treat me?
I was the next Tiger Woods when I was playing golf. Come on now. Like, it's kind of the same deal. Like, why would you want to have that label on you? Like, it just kind of puts you in a box and people have these stereotypes and this, that, and the thirds. It's like just... I don't know. I feel like being free, you want to be less labeled.
I don't know. I just don't. You know, again, I know how to use pronouns. Yes. I'm very well versed in the English language. I have a good command of it.
Yep.
Yeah, just step back. Take a step back with that pronoun
is the original
stuff,
statement.
man.
Yeah, just relax. Chill with that. Like, relax and chill with that. It's not anything that offends us in any way. It's not anything bad. We support it. I just don't like it, you know. Yeah, I don't want to be labeled at all.
I've seen job applications that ask, "What is your pronoun?"
And
what the fuck?
You know how I feel about just being labeled in general. Like, I was too white for the blacks, too black for the whites in general. I don't want that label. I don't want to be around that kind of situation. So, like, I get people first language and all that nonsense. I try to speak that and label people as humans instead of just what they're trying to label themselves as, I guess. Like, you're a human to me.
You know,
period. Like, I want you can be who you are, sure, but you're a human nonetheless.
I'm glad when you turned me on to the story of OJ because, man, if I had $1 for every time somebody called me a high yellow nigga, I'd be a rich man.
True, but like that song says every descriptor of what type of black man you possibly could be, but in terms altogether, it makes you just one thing. And that's it.
Because they want to pigeonhole you.
Exactly. They want to put you in a different type of category or make you feel worse and whatever. I have this rant. I'm going to get it on it right now, actually.
Go.
Where humans have a weird way of changing words to define things negatively or to change things culturally. Like the R word, for example. I say the R word because it's such a hard word to say, but originally it's a scientific term. It's a retardant, right? You know, something slows something down. But like as humans, we take words and change them and use them and make them the more offensive term, the more use of a word than the actual technical term of where it becomes. I don't know, it's just like we have that program in our mind to where we have to label, we have to be stereotypical about certain things for some reason, and it's a hard barrier for some people to break.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story, man.
Yeah.
And to me, they've shut up 100% of the time, which is good. And again, I'm not trying to get somebody to shut up, right?
Right.
But when somebody calls me a libtard, right? Okay, so that means you're a Republican. You must be a retard.
Like,
and then it's like, oh, what? You can't say that to me. Well, fuck you. Yes, I can.
We even discussed that here on the show. You're also labeling yourself and putting yourself in a category if you're playing the team game. Which really, true politics, you shouldn't be playing that team game.
Yeah.
You should be voting for what you believe in.
You want to try and pigeonhole me as something? Well, guess what? That means you're pigeonholing yourself as this.
Yeah, instead of just you're a human being that's voting for American rights. Yeah, that's basically what I do.
Right.
Right. But I don't know. It's just humans have a weird way of doing that. And then I said people first language earlier. Instead of saying that is the gene, black man gene, like that is gene, he is black or of black descent. It's like putting the people first. They are human first, their name first, who they are first, right? It helps you with descriptors. Like, I think not only we need to learn how to speak that way, but everyone needs to learn how to speak that way, because it then makes it more inclusive. It makes people feel more human. You put the human part of language first before the descriptor. Like I said earlier, we automatically want to start labeling and throwing adjectives out there when we forget that they're human first. It's the ideal. Like, that's how I try to be.
I can promise you this. If you don't come at me with that, I won't come at you with that.
And that's where I do the whole human versus people speech. Like, that's a human reaction. There's people out there, and people want to label. People want to be judgmental. People want to put their wrath against you. And humans want to accept you and be humane, which is why the words work that way. So
anyway, yeah. So, I know how to use pronouns. Don't try and make me have to use the same thing. I'm not going there. Mm-hmm. Don't label me.
Because you don't like to label people. Yeah. I don't know. But
anyway.
If out of respect for others, yes. And people who are also of other cultures and who are prideful of their culture, we respect that, of course, as well. Of course.
It's been something I've been like, I'm just going to be quiet about. It's been going on for a few years now, but I've had enough.
Yeah, it is different. You want to have a conversation about it. I think it was a great conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's get into our dumbass of the week.
Oh my goodness.
We have some different ones, actually. Mine started with a rumor originally.
Go ahead.
So NBA basketball conversation. Josh Giddey is on the dumbass throne today because he had a past relationship with a minor individual. There's footage and video. Oopsies. But first, it started with a rumor because Twitter started popping off and having conversations about it. Like, this girl is saying that she was with Josh in a relationship, but she's not allowed to talk about it, is what she's saying in the video. And there's images of them together and of recent time. He is a current NBA player, and she's currently, I believe, still underage. But she was 15 in these videos and imagery, and now the NBA is currently investigating him.
Look what Major League Baseball did with Wander Franco.
I mean,
they suspended him.
People are throwing Karl Malone left and right when they're talking about him right now.
Yeah.
And it is pretty bad. Even his own teammates who had imagery and photos of him on social media have removed them at the moment. Because they don't want to be associated with that kind of person. Yeah. But this is us talking about not labeling people and also labeling. There's good and bad labels. We need to make sure we keep that straight.
All I can say is in America, remember, you're innocent until proven guilty.
And right now he's innocent.
Right now he is.
It's not looking too hot. It's not looking too hot. Check your IDs before you use the Ds.
Remember where R. Kelly is.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to get at, though. Make sure you check that ID. Anyways, Josh Giddey.
Man, well, my dumbass of the week had to do with football yesterday.
Oh, boy.
Man, Dan Campbell and Ron Rivera, both the coach for the Lions and the Washington Commanders, both losing teams yesterday. I just don't understand why you're still in the game and you're deep in your own territory and you go for it on fourth down instead of punting. Like I said before the half, third quarter.
Yeah.
And
Even
you
the
just
third quarter.
gave Green Bay and Dallas the opportunity to take the game from you.
They were in it. And even the Lions, for example, the coach was like, we're hurting ourselves. It's the reason why we're behind. We can get into it if we don't hurt ourselves. Third down. Plenty of time left. On their own 25, decided to go for 4 when all game the defense has not been reliable. And guess what? They scored. The game's out of control then. That's 3 possessions. It's over.
They really did beat themselves because whoever it is on the coaching staff, I say Dan Campbell, he's the head coach. The coaching staff on both the Lions and the Commanders are dumbasses. I mean, especially, I'm watching the Cowboy game, right?
Right.
And they line up in the shotgun, call timeout, and Sam Howell's a big dude, right?
Yeah.
Line up under center and go for the quarterback so he can get a yard. No, they come out of the timeout right back in the shotgun.
Yep.
And Michael Parsons acts a fool on him.
Yeah. Let's give them extra more yards to work with here with the shotgun.
Give it to Dak Prescott to just. He threw 4 touchdowns yesterday because Washington turned it over too many times in their own half of the field, going for it on fourth down and not making it.
It's just bad coaching decisions, man.
Oh my God,
Absolutely
it was
bad
terrible.
Decisions. I think we stopped watching football after the Cowboy game. We were done. It's sloppy. It's halfway through the season, more than halfway.
Yeah, this is week 12. There's 6 more weeks to go, and Washington was in a playoff hunt.
Making it a little more difficult with those kind of calls.
Yeah, they're going to need a lot of help for other teams losing, and they're going to have to win out if they want a chance of making it. So at least Detroit is still on top of the NFC, Central. 2 games ahead of Minnesota, 3 games ahead of Green Bay. But come on, Washington. Right. You guys really, this is how you make decisions trying to make the playoffs? Or are you trying to make the playoffs? Is Ron Rivera trying to lose his job and be a head coach someplace else? I don't know, but it seems like they sure were not playing to win. That's what it looked like to me.
No, it did not look like it at all. No. At all. And I don't know. I was just blown away by all the decisions that they made in the game.
Dumbassery going around on Turkey Day, man.
The turkey got them sleeping for sure.
Yeah.
At the Reigns.
Oh my God.
I do want to add we do have a little bit of time, and I think it's good that we could do something like this. A little commentary from Brent. Brent did bring up, he said, watch out now. You don't accept labels. You might be labeled as woke. I actually have something to say about that. We're not woke. We're progressive. That's the difference. I'm going to tell you again. I'm just going to pull up Webster. I want to say I think we're just beyond that. That's kind of the idea. Beyond the labels.
So Webster, the dictionary, the definition of woke.
Oh God, here we go.
Here we go. One more time. This is for everybody else that thinks being woke is a bad thing, which brings, again, another dumbass's thing called Hillsdale College talking about we can't stand for these woke revolutions.
We got them going, bro.
Okay, here's woke. Being woke, according to Webster, is aware of and actively attentive to important societal facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social justice. So if you better damn well believe I'm woke. I pay attention to that shit. It's important. Social justice is very important to me. And the only people that don't want people being woke are the ones that want to pull the wool over your eyes. Remember that.
I don't have much to say. You guys know how I feel about it. But I mean, it's kind of true. Like, I think we're just even beyond woke, honestly. It's beyond just that definition.
I think everybody needs to wake up and see what's going on.
It's beyond just being woke and having that being a representative of yourself. Again, like, don't be labeled. Don't categorize yourself into that. Be human.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, again, I'm woke. I heard Cadet Bone Spurs talking about rooting out vermin living in this country, which is exactly the same thing Hitler said. So I'm woke. I'm paying attention. That's fascist language, which is what Hitler used to turn Germany into a fascist country, which is authoritarian. Wake up, people. I want to live in a democracy, not an authoritarian regime.
We are competent with culture here. We're just competent in general. That's kind of the deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Anyways, that's all the time we have for this week. I'm Gene.
And I'm Zane.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Have a wonderful rest of your Thanksgiving weekend.
Please be kind to one another, be safe, and treat
humane.
each other the way you want to be treated.
Amen. Right?
All right. Good night, everyone.
See y'all.